Local governments in the United States are founded on the philosophical principle of local sovereignty. Local sovereignty stems from the notion of personal sovereignty, the idea that individuals have the power to make decisions about their own lives for themselves. While the idea that individuals can govern their own lives for themselves is certainly not unique to American culture, it does hold a revered place among our society's basic values. Americans cling jealously to the notion that, quote, I'll make decisions about my own life for myself, end quote. While this sort of individualism is part and parcel of the American experience, Americans generally recognize that they live in a society. Consequently, there are some decisions that affect the community, not just individuals. However, Americans generally like for decisions to be made at the level of political community that is least removed from the individual, that is, as close to home as possible. Thus, local sovereignty means that we prefer that the collective decisions that affect us most immediately and most routinely be made by local governments whenever it is feasible. The idea of outside authorities telling locals how to run their business has historically been repugnant to Americans' sensibilities. Reflecting his great preference for local government authority, the iconic American philosopher and founder Thomas Jefferson once wrote that, quote, these wards, called townships in New England, are the vital principle of their governments and have proved themselves the wisest invention ever devised by the wit of man for the perfect exercise of self-government and for its preservation. Modern political scientists tend to agree that even in the early 21st century, local governments probably best represent the interests and desires of the American people. Given our preferences for local governing arrangements, the multitude of local government jurisdictions in the United States should come as no surprise. There are almost 90,000 local governments in the United States. 5.5% of those are in Texas alone. In the segments that follow, we will distinguish among the types of local governments in Texas, focusing particularly on the forms, processes, and responsibilities of municipal corporations or city governments. Let us begin, however, with a few general observations concerning the relationship between state and local authority in Texas.